The Hall H, which has traditionally been a massive time for Marvel to make announcements and get people excited about the future of the franchise. Quite frankly, people haven't been excited the last couple of years after what they've been seeing. And so they trot out, hey, here's everybody from Black Captain America 4 that nobody wants. Harrison Ford looked like he was fucking high while he went out there. Probably was. Then you got Thunderbolts, another movie full of characters that I don't know. Like a handful of them people might be interested in, but that team in and of itself, I don't know how many people are going to buy into that movie. And then they kind of start winding things down. They did show a preview of Fantastic Four, which I thought looked okay from the very little we saw. I still don't think you're allowed to play that on YouTube. I still think it's being copyright blocked because it was like an exclusive Comic-Con thing, which wasn't much. It was kind of just a little introduction of these characters in what looked like they were kind of almost filming a documentary for this space mission, which was about to happen. Still not the biggest fan of Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards.
I can't stand it.
But I do like a lot of the other castings. It's not that I can't stand it. I just don't like it. It's not like I hate it or despise it. It's just like, I just don't really see him in that role.
Saying that he's too famous is the wrong word, but he's too identifiable at this point. He's been in too much shit, and it just does. What's the guy's name that was him that they killed off? John
Krasinski.
Yeah,
he's super identifiable. Like obviously,
not to the point of Pedro Pascal being in these prominent roles of all these franchises and everything. So I think John Krasinski would have. He's the far better Reed Richards.
The thing I think that does it for me is these are actors, right? They're pretending to be something. I think that Pedro Pascal is a fucking retard, like an actual dumb motherfucker. So him playing like the smartest person in the world is like such a stretch for me.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that might be part of it. So they do that, and then they do pull out all the big stops, which things that we'd heard whispers of over the past week about the Russo brothers returning for Avengers 5 and 6. Kevin Feige kind of said, that's the rumor this week. I'll be interested to see who's directed it next week. That's how these things go. Sure enough, they bring the Russo brothers out there and announce that Avengers Kang Dynasty is no longer called that. It's called Avengers Doomsday, and that Victor Von Doom, Dr. Doom, is going to play a role in that movie. And just them getting the Russo brothers back. Now, to remind everybody, they did Captain America Winter Soldier, they did Civil War, they did Infinity War, and they did Endgame. Now, I think Endgame's a fucking mess. I think we've been pretty clear about that. I think the other ones, I had criticism about Civil War in terms of the stakes, because I didn't think the stakes were high enough in a movie called Civil War, where it really ends up being like maybe a drunken brawl between buddies in a backyard. But overall, I think people have a very high opinion of Civil War as a whole. So 3 out of 4 of those really fucking solid. Two of them actually, I think are some of the best in the MCU.
I like
Winter Soldier and Infinity War, fucking amazing.
I liked Endgame, but I admit that it is a mess. But I did enjoy the hell out of it. I enjoyed it.
So they have been super critical of Marvel over the past couple of years. They've had a couple jabs here and there, especially about some of the decisions they've made to reverse some of the things that happened. They had a problem with them showing the Infinity Stones in Loki, kind of like a joke after everything they just went through to show the Infinity Saga. So the fact that they're coming back is kind of a big deal in terms of bringing people back that have had success, that had a problem with the direction of the MCU. Now they're back in the fold. And then that's when they made the big reveal of who's playing Victor Von Doom. That kind of set the internet on fire, some in a positive way, some in a negative way. Robert Downey Jr. returning to the MCU. Not as Iron Man, but as Dr. Doom.
I am kind of just like you. I am shocked at the divided nature of this announcement. I felt like this is going to be universally loved by all the normies, all the people out there. But people aren't like, yeah, there are people that are excited for sure. No, I don't want to say that they're not, but it's pretty divided.
I think that it is overall positive, the sentiments, but there's a bigger chunk of negativity than I expected there to be for it. But this is Marvel. This is where they put themselves in, right? People don't trust anything they're doing. Is this a desperate move to bring the Russos back and have Robert Downey Jr., who played your most iconic character, come back and play a very iconic villain in the comics? It is a desperate move, but it all kind of is about the execution if they can pull it off. I don't think they have anyone convinced right now that they should have goodwill for that, but I do think they truly are acknowledging that they have fucked up and want to turn it around. I just don't know if this is the best decision to do that.
I don't like it. Doctor Doom is a character that you could make. God, he could be so cool if you actually did him right. And I think this is going to piss off a lot of the hardcore Doctor Doom fans out there, you know, that are like, oh, we just want this character done right. And you could do right by him, but this is not it. It's pure desperation. You're not going to convince me of anything other than that it's pure desperation. And it's desperation because you put yourself in this position, Marvel. Again, say whatever you want about Endgame. Endgame ended on a high note financially for them. Endgame was just insane. So since that moment, you have done nothing but ruin the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And you've done it with self-inflicted wounds by basically pushing identity politics and woke garbage. That's what you've done. I don't feel sorry for them at all. And now you've gotten to a point. What's the Thanos meme?
You could not live with your own failure. Where did that bring you? Back to me.
So you couldn't live with your failure. So what did it do? Bring you right back to me, meaning the straight white male character, because you've pushed all of this identity politics bullshit. The Marvels was the biggest failure in the history of the MCU, a disaster. And now you've found yourself in this position. I don't feel sorry for them, and it is pure desperation, in my opinion. Will it be successful? Probably. It's Robert Downey Jr.
He certainly is the megastar of the MCU.
He absolutely is.